I'm Allan. I've been doing location sound for 30 years. Um, Sorry, but I have to look at my notes sometimes. Um, and I've been doing film, TV, commercials, and a lot of other stuff, but not music, mostly that. To do that, I brought some gear, what we use in the industry, and this is basically all we need to do a feature film today. I have it all here. It's pretty easy to make sound because it can be two persons sitting in a car doing dialogue. We mainly do dialogue in my field of work. It can be like that. Two people talking in a car. That's pretty easy. Or it can be a lot of people talking unscripted. So what you really need to do when you work as a sound recordist is to prepare yourself for each shoot. Read the script again. Try to figure out how shall I make this scene? How shall we capture the sound? And talk with the director, talk with the DOP, figure out how are they going to shoot this? Can I be there with my microphones and stuff? When you had all these talks with the director and the DOP, it's still not your call how to get the dialogue. As I said, it's pretty easy to record dialogue, but that's only until the rest of the crew shows up. And then it gets very hard. And then we'll be working in wide shots. We always have to remember how to capture the dialogue. So this will give us a bit of a problem. It can be that. It can be wind machines and lights going. Or it can be our main lead character is bringing flowers in what's it called, cellophane or something. So that's a hell. Or it can be like this. So it's very hard to capture dialogue when you're under these conditions. When you have prepared yourself to do a shoot, you got your gear. It's not always the budget is there, so you have to be very creative. As a sound recordist, we do not put a lot of art into the film, but we have to be very creative to capture the dialogue. Even though we are very good at what we do and we try to get the dialogue as best as possible, there are also times where we have to give up and say, okay, you fix and post. But we do our best to get the best sound as possible, even if we know it's for ADR.
Can I ask for on this type of situations? I don't know if you had this experience, but
No, this is Saving Private Ryan. That's not me.
this kind of scenes where there's battle, but obviously there is some dialogue. Usually when I work, I try always to record the best pilot to do the post-production daily to recreate how they said it, what they said.
Exactly.
But
So
in this kind of situation, do you completely
no, never, ever. No. We always try to do our best to get dialogue. We never give up. We'll try to do the best, exactly as you say. The better the sound we can get from the location, the easier it will get to recreate it in post. So we'll never give up. Never, ever. Never. Sometimes you are lucky to work with a director who is very keen on sound, how to capture it. And this is House of Cards, the season with David Fincher. I don't know if you know David Fincher. He likes dialogue. So he said, we need the best dialogue possible. Nobody's wearing a mic or anything. It's just that. And then because they have the money, this is how they did the scene. So they just painted out the boom in the post-production. It must have been so fucking expensive. Now, actually, I think maybe 5%, maybe even 2% is wide shots where you need to paint out the boom because the rest of it we will get in closer shots and stuff. Unless it's something where the director says, this is all wide shots, then you have to do that. Does it make sense? Is the level of is the degree of what, sir?
Why wouldn't you use mics on the first?
Later. And if I don't remember it, please remind me.
Yeah.
What are the tools we are working with? It's very important, and I can only say that 200,000 times. Know your fucking tools. The better you know your tools, the more mental capacity you have. So when you are, if you encounter any problems, then if you know all of your tools and how they work, it's much easier for you to fix the problems. So the main things we work with is a recorder like this. Anybody knows recorders? Everybody knows recorders. Yes? Cool. This is the smallest one for me. It's a Sound Devices 8 series. And I totally given up on how much they can record, how many tracks, because now they can record everything you need. When I started, we had that recorder, 2 tracks. That was it. But now we have a ton of tracks. And the newer recorders, they can also do equalizing. They can do compressors. They can do auto mixing. They can do everything. So now this little box is very, very, very complicated. So you have to know your tools. And if everybody knows what this is, read the fucking manual. Always read the manual. Because this tiny little machine is so deep. It has so many levels of everything. And if any of you are going on doing sound recordings or location sound, I will encourage you to, if you're working on these recorders, always make a preset so you can go from shit to a baseline like that, because you need it. A colleague of mine, he's an experienced sound guy, called me and he said, Allan, help, because I have this going on somewhere. And he couldn't figure out, and he was looking at the display and he couldn't see it, but he could hear it. I was just, okay, if you can hear it, then it's in somewhere and then you are blah, blah. So in this one, we have more levels of inputs. And in one of the deeper levels, he had input from a wireless receiver. There was nothing attached to it, so it just got a little RF hits once in a while. And because that channel was open, not recorded, but just the fader was open, so it went to his left-right track, and he could hear it. If he had read the manual, he would know. I just have to look at my levels, or my layers, it's called, sorry. To record sound, we use different kinds of microphones. And they all have a different characteristic, or whatever you say in English. You're all familiar with this, what it is. It's a polar diagram. And we can use that in our work. If we need to hear all around us, then we use the omni. We use the supercardioid or the cardioid indoor, where we can get close. We use the shotgun indoor, outdoor, depending on the background noise. So we use a lot of microphones. And again, if you know your tools, you know where to use them and when you can benefit the most of the microphones. The most used microphone is we use the shotgun a lot because sounds coming from here and here and here and here are not as audible. They are very low in volume. So we use them a lot because we are only interested in what we are pointing at. The thing with the shotgun is when you have to choose one. This is my tip to you. If you have to choose a shotgun mic, what do? You go to the store, you take a shotgun mic, you place it above the head, and you start talking, and you listen, and you say, oh, this is awesome. Don't do that. Because what it is we are interested in is the off-axis sound. Because most of the microphones, they sound the same from the front. But on the sides, where we filter out the off-axis sound. The rest of the sound, the sounds that are left, can be really weird sounding or bad sounding or whatever. So what you do when you are looking for a shotgun mic to use for your project, listen to what comes to the side, talk into the side, go in. Everybody knows the MKH60? No? Yes?
Yes, it's cool.
It's a workhorse in the industry. It's a shotgun mic. It's been around for 20,000 tak. This is my boom. This is my beloved tool. It's a shotgun, and it's wireless because I don't like wires. The MKH60, which has been used for tons of years, sounds very good when you talk to it, directly into it. The off-axis sounds very, very bad. But nobody gives a shit. Gave a shit, I don't know. But it's a very bad mic, but nobody actually tested it for the off-axis sound. My choice, I'm not here to promote anything. My choice is the DPA because the off-axis is linear. You understand?
Which?
Any. No, I really like DPA because DPA has a philosophy that everything has to be as linear as possible. You are capturing dialogue. You're not doing music. You're not trying to color what you are recording. You can do that in post. So if they have a philosophy to make microphones that are almost recreating or capturing how it sounds, then for me, it's the best one. I'll get back to you. Some years ago, I made a feature film and a documentary at the same time about some Danish terrorists in the 17th, 80s, Blekingegadebanden. And we had to interview these guys. They are famous in Denmark, infamous. But I felt I had a historical obligation to record them as they sound. And that was when my journey with DPA started, because I have to make a recording that sounds exactly like they sound. So that was my journey, my start with DPA. I'm a very big fan. And of course, they also try to make the off-axis as linear as possible, just lower in volume. You understand? If it's messy or something, just say we do not get what you're talking about. So we also use miniature mics. No. Everybody knows miniature mics, right? And here it's in a concealer, but we use them a lot. They're usually Omni. I had a huge debate with DPA because I said to them, yeah, you say it's Omni, but if I turn it upside down, I can hear the difference. So it's not Omni in all frequencies, but it's Omni. What the benefit of this is, it has a very low sensitivity compared to this one. So if you place it closer to the source, then a lot of the background noise will not disappear, but it will be very low. This is a 5mm capsule. This is, I don't know, bigger capsule. Of course, these are not as good as that one. These are only for me to get the dialogue if I'm not able to get it on the boom mic, because they are totally different microphones. This one isn't as full, as rich, as dynamic as this one. That was your question?
Yeah. And also thinking, would you then use the smaller mic if it's like a scene that's where you just need something to do it in post? Would you then, like the Saving Private Ryan scene? Would you
yeah. If you're not able to get, as I said before, we never give up. Yeah. So I will always see if I can get the boom. If I cannot get the boom, I will, of course, rely on these. Yeah. Every time we have an actor or a talent on set, we'll place a mic on him, her, the person, the talent. And then we'll have the boom mic also. But these are not as good as that one. And if any of you are directors or interested in that, we used to say even a breath is acting. So this one will not capture the breath, but that one will. The problem with these is we cannot see them. We are not allowed to see them in frame. So we hide them. This is part of a spacesuit for a sci-fi film. And that's a 4060 DPA. Talk with the director, talk with the DOP, see how to make the scene, how to make everything work. Okay, we are using custom like this in the entire film. Let's put it there in the outfit. Or, and anybody knows Sygeplejeskolen? It's a Danish TV series about doctors and nurses. And we have a 4060. There. In frame. That's what I really like it. I really like when I can put a microphone in frame. It's so cool. I usually go to the DOP and say, "Can you see the mic?" He said, "No, where?" Okay, perfect. Yeah. So to hide the microphones, we have a lot of small accessories and stuff. And again, know your tools. The more tools you have and the more you know them, we have a lot of small items. This is a concealer. Can everybody see it? It's a bumblebee concealer. No, still no. It died. It's a little rubber thingy. You put the mic on it and you put some tape on the backside. And has anybody seen my mic? Can you see it? It's right here. So it's pretty easy to hide things. This is one of the times where you have to be very, very creative, because then they'll show up with clothes that is noisy, or I have no idea what they can throw at you. They have glasses hanging here and stuff. So you will use your concealers, you will use your creativity, you will do whatever you can to capture the dialogue as best as possible, but you have to be prepared beforehand. I have a ton of stuff in my cart. I would have loved to show you it. I will be in a room down here with this the next 2 days. So if you want to come and see what are the small gadgets, the tricks and the stuff, come and visit me, and then we'll talk there. Let's see. So now we have all the wireless microphones on the Talons. We have the boom, and we will send everything to the recorder. And what the sound recordist also do is he make it 2 tracks. Sorry, I'm old. I'm not as woke. The sound person will do a mix down of all the microphones. So you will have the boom blended with the wireless. You do a track of that, and you send that to edit. So they have something to edit in. And then all the ISO tracks, the discrete channels, whatever, will go to post-production, sound post, where you will work on the files there. I haven't been doing post in 20 years, and I know a lot of shit is going on. One thing that is very good for us is all the nice post-production tools. The world has gone more noisy than it used to be. We have more cars. You cannot film anywhere, almost. And you will hear a freeway, or you will hear the highway, or you will hear cars everywhere. But today, with the tools we have in post-production, it's pretty easy to remove that. But always remember, when you remove something from the sound file, you also remove it from the voice, from the dialogue. And that is why we never give up, and we always try to get as best sound as possible. So the better the sound is when we give it to post, the more they have to work with. So that was actually what I got. Yeah, I'm sorry if it's only half an hour or whatever. Questions, please. There's a lot. You.
What about gain levels? Like, what do you aim for with the?
Yeah. With the different mics, I don't know. I always try to gain as high as possible with a certain amount of headroom. So in digital, the main dialogue would be around -20, going to -12, because I have to get it as loud as possible for post-production. And the louder it is, it's more easy to work with in the post. So I'm always, I know you can see this, where it goes yellow, it's -20, and where it goes orange, it's -12. So this will always be where I will do dialogue. I'll mix dialogue to that level. Did that answer your question? But you'll have to, the gain setting will be different for each microphone. So you'll have to gain, but when it reaches the recorder, I'll try to get it there. And you are all familiar with 32-bit floating point. We don't do that.
What?
And I'm actually, because if I know what I'm doing, I don't need it. And you are actually using some of the bits for the audio quality to do the 32-bit float. So you will actually get a lesser quality of sound doing 32-bit float. But the dynamic range is stupid. It's crazy. So if you know what you're doing, stay with 24-bit. If you don't know what is going to happen, or if it's a gun going off or whatever, you can use 32-bit. But most of the pro people I know, they will say the same as me. If we know what we are doing, we don't need 32-bit. Question there.
When it comes to post-production, there's so much like EQ being taken off, and in ADR and dubbing, for instance, we're making the sound worse to kind of match the on-set sound. So when you're talking about getting like the best microphone and the best sound, it's kind of a juxtaposition because we're making it worse in post-production. Where do you kind of stop worrying about the fidelity and just capturing the sound the best as possible?
That's not my. I will as a sound recordist, I will always aim for the best, always, because maybe you think you are making the sound worse, but of course you have to take a lot of low end for it. If you have to put it on television, you cut the low end below 120 hertz or whatever. Or if you have a lot of dynamic, a lot of stuff going on. Oh, you saw the scene from Saving Private Ryan. Have you seen that film? That the first 20 minutes is the most awesome mixing ever. And the full frequency spectrum is filled up, and of course you can hear the dialogue because of the filtering. So the dialogue will be very small in fidelity. You will have to take a lot of low end out and a lot of top, but then you'll mix it right in between and then you can hear the dialogue. So that doesn't concern me that you do that, because I always have to give the best at all times. So, questions more? Good. We usually do dialogue. No, we do dialogue. That's what I say. I do dialogue, but post-production will always love to have ambience from the locations. I have a chips, not DPA, chips, ORTF, that's always with me on set. And if we are next to a airport or whatever, then it'll be the ships that will be somewhere out there recording while we are recording the dialogue.
Why?
I will always try to get some of the ambience on a separate track, because if some of you are editing, if we have dialogue and a car is passing, but we're editing and we cut in the middle of the car, we have a problem. But if I have the car clean on a ambient set, then I can patch the sound and I can cut where the car is, and you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Room tones, not so much anymore. Why? Nobody gives a shit. Especially on set, they are not waiting 2 minutes for you to make the room tone. We are busy, 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 busy. So that's one of the main things today. We are very busy, very, very busy, and sound is the only department that not references to the picture, so nobody gives a shit. We are in the bottom of the. So we really have to fight if we want the room tone, and of course, if you are in a place where you can hear, you need the room tone. Of course, fight for it, but most of the times, I don't do room tone.
For example, if there is like a constant noise that you noticed, like it's really valuable to get the room right and wait.
Yeah. So I will do that.
Yeah.
I will. But as you all know, those of you working in post-production or stuff, you can always find the 2 seconds of room tone between dialogue, and you will use that for your image in the noise reduction or whatever. So room tone, not so much. Yes.
Allan, I just wanted to ask, because you have such a big experience of so many years in the production and everything, do you feel that about the busyness, that it's changed throughout the years, that maybe before it wasn't as busy and now the sets are so, scheduled that you have to do so much in little time? Actually. And does it change, and maybe does it change because of different productions? Like what is your thought was that?
Oh, I really think that that the industry has changed a lot, because the money are. I think we are getting less money, at least in Denmark. So we are more pressed for people, pressed for time, pressed for anything. We have to work a lot harder. Nowadays, we are not taking half an hour break in the middle of the day because somebody has a birthday, and we will celebrate that. And now it's singing in the morning and off to work. So
how many hours it's the day on set in Wet Heart?
in Denmark, it can be officially between 8 or 10, because
We have
you are from where? Oh yeah, I heard about it. You ate 50, you work 56 hours a week or something like that. Yeah, something. Oh. So, but that's how it is in Denmark. It's 8 to 10 hours. In Denmark we can have 4-day weeks. We have a 40-hour week, and you can do that in 4 days or 5 days usually. But
also, I wanted to ask you, because you said in the beginning that you were editor as a tone, you had to act with respect, but you were not called inside. How do you deal with the conflicts on set and with the fighting for the best sound while being the person that is not calm?
oh, that's a tricky one, because you always have to think about, is it worth the fight? And I just had a talk yesterday with a friend of mine who's doing a TV series. I was helping him, and he lost perspective at one point of what we were doing, because we were so fucking busy. So we lost perspective, and he had to fight for something. And after he fought for it, he got what he needed, and we did the take. He was just, fuck, I didn't need to do that. But because we are so pressed for time and pressed for everything and stuff, so the workload is too much sometimes, and then you pick the different fight, the wrong fights. But you always have to remember, is it worth it? Do I really need this? Do I? If a child is crying, a small child is crying, do that. Fight for that. To record that, because the child will never be able to do the same in post-production. If it's a seasoned actor who's got 30 years of experience, let him do the post. Don't fight to get that scene. So you have to, you know what I mean? You have to think about, do I need this? How much do I need it? And is it worth the fight? So.
Yeah, like the wireless on the shop, and which system do you trust, and what dangers are there as working with the wireless service shop, Matt? Are there dangers anymore?
Yes. We haven't even talked about wireless because wireless is that's going a lot of stuff on these days with wireless. I'm a big fan of Visicom because it's an analog system.
Mm.
It transmits analog. Why is that better? Look at my YouTube channel. I will explain it. No, actually, digital systems are more than the noise floor, which is all around us, especially in wireless. The noise floor has to be very low for a digital system to work. There's I don't remember the numbers, but there's at least 10 dBs difference in the noise floor analog to digital. But today they are all getting very, very good, and the processing of the sound wireless is very, very good. So you will not lose any fidelity, in my opinion. You will lose some, but not a lot compared to 10 years ago where you would never go wireless boom because it'll sound like shit compared to a cable. But I made an A/B test with this one on a Visicom transmitter and one on cable with some of the guys at my company. And I said, listen, which one is wireless? One of them was a little different than the other, but it was not there. They said, oh, this is wireless. So the danger is the spectrum we are working, the bandwidth we are working in 470 megahertz to 700 and then again 800 to something. We are a lot of people fighting in that area. So it's very hard, can be very hard to find a frequency you can actually use. So you are always in the back of your mind thinking about, oh, what is, if something is going on with my wireless or somebody will turn on a microphone on the same channel. So that's the thing with wireless. But then you just find a new frequency. But wireless is a hell these days. And again, if you know your tools, you can fix your problems. So,
Yeah. I know you said you wanted to talk about the card maybe later, but I just wanted to ask, is it, I can see the wheels have a grip on them. Is it, do you use it for all situations, all the time? You have this one card for everything, or like, is it different for outside, for...
No. I'm a totally gear freak, so yeah. I love this.
Yeah.
And this I built for me because it suits what I need to do. Sometimes you need to put the back on a harness and you run out. Yeah. So this system is built so you can do that. But this is basically what I have and what I need, and it has everything. I'm not sure I understand your question fully.
I'm just asking if it's if it's like, if you use it for everything, both for filming outside.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah. But only on bigger sets, or and not of documentaries and stuff. Then you wear this and you have the boom in your hand, and yeah. Huh?
And quick question about low cut. Because sometimes I can find it's difficult to figure out when and how that.
Yeah.
And do you have like a general philosophy of low cut?
I talked to one of the post guys who do a lot of the things I do, and he said, "Oh, Allan, because I say I'll cut at 60, maybe, so you get the handling away. I cut at 60, 80." And he says, "Oh, you're stupid. I cut at 320." He said. So it's just okay. No, I believe, my belief is give as much as possible, and then somebody else will figure out to cut at 320 or whatever. So as long as I don't have the rumble of the hand noise or the something, I'm very I don't like to touch the sound. So I usually, these recorders also have equalizers and stuff. And as I told Christian, because I put the microphone under my shirt, it'll take some of the high end off. And I said to him, you have to compensate for that. So I do that also on set. I'll try to make the sound with the equalizer here as as natural as possible.
I think sometimes do you still use some kind of old analog techniques? I remember during the talk, for example, on shooting, that they would still record on tape, even though there's all the digital kind of tools. But then there was something about like the hits and the kicks. Yeah, I just wonder if you still use some techniques that are old because there is a value in it.
No, not in that sense. No. I know a lot of people they like to use analog recorders or analog compressors or stuff to color the sound a little bit because it has a better warmth. But that's not my job to do that. I will deliver 1-to-1. It sounded like this on set. You have this to work with. So I think like he said, do you need the miniature microphone? I think this is a pretty old setup that you're still booming, and we will still meet people and say, what are you doing with that one? Because they are so used to people are interviewing each other with a miniature mic or the DJI thing. I hate it. In the square box in the frame, so they have no idea what this is. So that's pretty old school, but still the best. Yeah.
Do you ever adjust the phase for your microphones?
Nope.
Even if you hear them cancel?
Nope.
But
yeah, of course. If it's, I only listen to the 2-track for the editors, the mix down for the editors, and if I can hear it's really, really bad, then I will do. But it's normally not. The thing with
you don't see a risk that you hand it over to someone else, and maybe that editor doesn't have the experience to recognize the show and those broadcasts.
That's always the fear among us. It's you do something. That's what you have to do it as good as possible. So if you hear you have a phase problem, you will adjust it. But you don't. These days we don't, unless they say we want to broadcast it immediately. Then you don't make a broadcast mono mix. Then you make boom on one track and you have the level, the miniature mics on left track, right track. So you'll separate them. And if you get phasing problems on the miniature mics, they have to be really, really close. One thing about DPA is also, I'm not trying to sell DPA, but if you use the DPA lavaliers or the miniature mics, they sound better with the DPA mic on the boom. It's much easier to blend them. If you do the strips, the blue one, and you blend it with the 4060s, you will have some issues. So.
Which model of DPA that will need?
This one, that's the 4017.
4070.
17, that's a shotgun. I also have the 4018 for indoor. It's a cardioid, super cardioid. And I have 4015, it's a white cardioid. And I don't know, I have a lot of shit. But usually I have the shotgun or the cardioid or the super cardioid. And from...
Yeah, also...
DPA, 4060, 6060. I know somebody prefers the 61 because it's has a lesser sensitivity, but it also has a higher noise floor. So, yes.
I wanted to ask anyone about your approach and for monitoring and listening to the dialogues. Whether you split the signal listening to the microlights and how you switch when you are listening crowd tiny little bits.
Okay, if I'm in a production where I have 1 or 2 persons with me, so I'm only doing the mixing, then during a take I will do like this all the time: solo, 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 solo. I will listen to every miniature mic all the time to hear if I have a problem, and the boom. And if I have a boomer who's as good as me, I will just ask him after the take, were you good? And he said, yes, I was good. Then I don't have to think about the boom. If it's a less experienced one, I listen to the boom also just once in a while. But I don't really listen to the complete mix. Automix will take care of that for me. If it's a film, not if you have to broadcast it right away, then you have to listen to the mono. But I just do like this all the time. Yes.
And do they record a talk with you?
Sorry.
Do the people that work with you, the bureau operators, do they listen to what they are recording? Like, do you send them the signal?
Always. It's not very easy to boom because of if you turn your head a little bit, you can hear a decrease in the higher frequencies. So you have to follow that one, and if you cannot use your ears while you're booming,
So
you have to listen. Always, if you are in doubt when you are booming, does this sound good? What I do is I place the mic above the head. Now we'll have a little demo. It will be actually like this. So I'm pointing, we have a speech bubble. You know that term? The voice is coming like this. So I'll try to point straight down through it. And then what I do is if he's talking, I will do like this, small miniature movements to hear, is it better here? No, it's not better. Is it better here? No, yeah, it's better here. So always, that's what I do. And I always encourage my boomers to do that. Try to see if you can get it a little bit better. And I know there's people that are just, he's there. So we fix and post. Did that answer your question? Cool. Yes.
you participate in pre-production meetings for the record to
Always.
is on-set recordings handled?
I always participate in pre-production in a certain way, and also go on location trips. So you can have a voice if they choose a location right next to a freeway or motorway or whatever. Then you say, "Can we find another one?" So always.
How would you deal with notes and everything, and maybe bad takes, like notes for the post production? What is your system to keep track?
Oh man, it's a tricky one. It's on the sound devices. You have you can hook up a iPad or a telephone, and you can write your notes, and they will be on the metadata.
With the time code sync.
It will be in the file.
Okay. Okay, inside the file.
So if you open it, it will be in the file. You can read it there, but you can also make a sound report. And the last 15 years, I was told nobody sees that shit.
No.
So cool.
Yeah, thank you.
One last question.
I have a question about communication with other people. I have this experience that actors are speaking quietly, or I cannot understand every word.
That's the new normal.
How do you communicate? Do you say it to the director or the actors directly?
It depends on who it is. So if it's, I come from Denmark. We are everybody is equal. So we can talk to the actor. So if it's somebody you know, an actor you've known for many years, you just say, "Can you give me a little more voice on this one?" They will say, "Oh, yeah." But usually it's the director if it's a problem. So, and it can be a problem because they think, "Oh, I have the mic here, so I just talk to myself like this." It's so stupid. 20 years ago, people were acting. I love doing shoots with Americans today because Americans are talking like this. That's so beautiful. I like it.
Fair.
Cool. Hope you enjoyed it.